Hello and welcome to the NFU Shed Talks podcast. I'm Jax Weaver.
And I'm Mike Greenwood-Wilkins. And coming up in today's new episode of NFU Shed Talks, we have got some very exciting people that we've been talking to. We spoke to fruit grower turned film and documentary maker Bal Padda, who is trying to sell a documentary about his farm to Netflix, our very own Clarkson's Farm.
Came from a background where racism was very high and I felt it daily, and I thought that would be the same in farming. I didn't find that. If you're good at your job, you're going to be welcomed in.
Plus, we get the latest from Westminster, our amazing external affairs team, focusing on the family farm tax and the finance bill.
We had so many of those backbench Labour MPs deliver really incredible speeches, calling out the government on their policy, encouraging them to look again.
And then finally, a bit of a festive flair. We've been talking to one of our fabulous NFU education team, Josh Payne, about their festive farming quests that have been taking place in schools up and down the country.
We're very, very mindful of who we choose to make sure that we see a wide spread of the industry. So it doesn't matter what racial background you're from, it doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter what your accent's like even. We try and make sure that in that lesson, every young person that watches sees a little bit of themselves in the people that are presenting the lessons so that they can see it as viable for them.
So it's been a few weeks, Mike, since we caught up and the last time we did the podcast. I think it would be amiss not to mention the fact we've had a budget.
We have. It's not necessarily the positive, wonderful, happy news we want to be talking about before Christmas, is it? I don't know if I can say it was a letdown because I didn't have high expectations and they were met. Tiny little bit of reference to the change in allowances between married couples, but I almost found that more insulting that they acknowledged an existence of the family farm tax and then did something so tiny as a change. It would almost been better for them to have not mentioned it at all. Just incredibly frustrating. I know our team in Westminster are going to cover what the budget means in a lot more detail later in the podcast, and they're far more able to speak about it than we are, and that will be quite fascinating. But I do know that they have been working tremendously hard, and we are still lobbying so hard, especially for members. Just people who have got older family members and are in really difficult situations. I've got lots of friends in that scenario, and it's really tough, just beyond tough. It's not really even articulatable.
Personally, I'm fingers crossed that the change is going to maybe reduce our own inheritance tax bill. So quick call to the accountants required in the Weaver household. But it's not the end. Yeah. We are continuing to fight.
If you haven't done so yet, if you're listening to this and you haven't spoken to your accountants and your solicitors yet, please do so. Yes. It's so important. And if you don't know where to start, call first and someone will help you.
The fight continues. We've got to keep going. But, Mike, we have something very, very important to talk about. And that is what is going on at your house now. I haven't driven past yet, but I will be. But I understand you have some very special visitors that have cropped up on the farm.
We do have some very special visitors to the farm. So it started, the visitors have been here for a while actually. Both me and my sister got married this year, not to each other, I would like to point out. To our respective partners, we got married. And to celebrate my sister's wedding, she made a bride and groom out of wrapped silage bells on the side of the A4 here in Wiltshire. If you're in Wiltshire or on the southwest, you may have seen it. It's been all over social media. They look stunning and everyone's just fallen in love with them. We have people stopping and taking photos and selfies with them all the time. And because it's December and because it's nearly Christmas, they have miraculously been magically transformed into Father Christmas and Mrs. Claus. And they just look so beautifully festive and wonderful. And it's literally just happened today. So I've not really had any feedback from anyone yet, but I'm just hoping. I know there's thousands of people driving past them on the A4 right now going, oh my goodness, Father Christmas is here in Wiltshire and he looks like a straw bale and it's Farmer Christmas.
I will be there. I will take my selfie and I'll send it to you. But you've also had some other bits going on, haven't you? And For those who might be in the same boat, do you want to just quickly, because I know we're a little bit tight for time, just fill us in on your planning journey?
Yes, so we've got loads of exciting things going on the farm at the moment. I think everyone is looking at diversification and other options on what they can do on farm with everything that's going on. So we've been trying for a super long time to have a farm shop and farm kitchen cafe. And the last couple of weeks, we have gone full Clarkson's Farm, and we've been meeting with the parish council, and in our local village hall, sat around little foldable tables. And thankfully, though, all of the people that we've been meeting with have been really wonderful and very kind in their feedback. It's been tough. I mean, the whole process getting this far has just taken forever, and it just feels like an unending quest to get through it. And we've had some really tricky questions, and people have been, putting things to us. We've been having to jump through lots of hoops and working really hard. But the feedback has been really constructive as well as positive and, critical in really fair ways. And it's really testing us that our plans are absolutely where they should be. But it's so exciting. I love, obviously, I'm a British farmer producing food, and the idea of having our own farm shop that we could sell stuff locally, our own produce, our neighbours, friends' produce is super exciting. And the community we've started talking to seem to think that it's quite a good idea. But it is terrifying, sat in a village hall with loads of councillors and putting your plans out there.
I'm sure it is. And we've got everything crossed for you, Mike. And hopefully we will, as the podcast team, come and have a piece of cake in your farm shop and cafe very soon.
Oh, yes, please. You'll all be invited to the opening. Alison Hammond has already agreed to open it for us, so I'm absolutely. And Paul Hollywood's going to be there as well. I've got him on film saying I can't wait to visit the farm shop, so he's definitely coming.
You hold him to that. Up next, we have Bal Padda, who is a soft fruit producer turned documentary filmmaker. We're going to have a really good chat with him about his project and what's next. Hopefully, Netflix.
So we are here with Bal Padda, who has been putting together an incredible new documentary film about his family's journey from farming within the Punjabi region of India to farming in Worcestershire. Bal, please could you just give us a bit of an introduction to yourself and your family and your journey and how you got into farming and what you're doing?
Bal Padda, Vicarage Nursery, we're soft fruit growers from the Vale of Evesham, the Garden of England. And originally my father's from Punjab, the breadbasket of India, so a long journey. He's the founder and of Vicarage Nurseries, so he's the one who started the business in 1997, like he tells us many, many, many times. Yes, I think I've heard the story 1,000 times, isn't it? But 1997 with my mother, Palwinder, they did all the jobs back in the day, the factory, the foundries, and then ended up owning their own little plot of land, which is now, which originally when they brought it was like a hobby farm, I would say. But now it's 150 acres, growing close to 2,000 tons of soft fruit in the summer days, as they say. So, yeah.
What was the decision-making process to buy the land and become farmers? You say they've gone through loads of other iterations of what they have done. What was the passion that drove getting into farming?
So my dad, in the 80s and early 90s, things just crashed and burnt. Foundries, everything got closed down. And my dad ended up being a labourer, pulling onions. And as he was working for a company, went up to a pack house, started working in a pack house, and they said, Padda, you're a farmer, why don't you farm? But back home in India, we farm corn and wheat, totally different soft fruit. My dad said, yeah, okay, I'll give it a go. Bought a couple of acres and, started from there, but it's totally different. That's how he ended up owning the farm. And then I joined him in about 15 years ago. Would you believe it? 15 years ago, I joined him, from my own experiences in life. And best decision ever, to be honest with you. Such a good laugh.
I understand that you've self-funded a documentary about the farm and your journey. What was the drive to share your family's journey? What made you think, yes, I'm going to create this film?
Do you know the funny thing is, you got goals, ain't you? And you got like things you want to cross off your bucket list. So imagine in your bucket list, you want to have your own little mini documentary, and everybody's talking about Clarkson and all different farms. And I thought, do you know what? They're all great, and I watch them, Fletcher's Farm, Clark's and everything, and I thought, they're good, but we've got characters. And then along came a friend of mine, Nigel. He turned up with a couple of colleagues, and they started filming, and it was like him and Adi, the cameraman, we just said, let's just film. And we just did that. That's all we did. We just started filming for 3 days, I think it was. And it was just amazing. It was so funny because I thought, but then me being me, I thought, do you know what? We need that logo, we need a name. So Nigel, me and Aidan, we came up with Punjabi Farm. And I'm a Brummie, so we had to put anything in it. So, and then origins of where we originally came from, Punjab. We made a trailer, an official trailer, which if you've ever seen it, I mean, it's amazing.
We have. It's great. I really want to watch the rest of the documentary now, having watched the trailer.
The trailer was so fun doing it because we literally, I came up with the idea. Aidan came with the camera. We kind of said, yeah, we'll film it. And it was just everybody hanging out. Like, you know, like you see all these TV channels with, trying to remember, reality shows and everybody standing along the line. That's what we wanted to do with the characters.
And it's like slightly in slow motion and it's all laughter and fun. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely excellent.
Right, that's Heidi. And it's, okay. And it just come out good. And it was fun because you only see about like 12, 15 characters there. But there's on the side, 100 people waiting to get in. So we were like, oh no. And it was just a weird and wonderful day. And the soundtrack to that was actually sang by a guy on the farm.
Oh, wow.
No way.
We kind of didn't want to pay out royalties. Being Indian, of course, we kind of got afraid, royalties. So we thought we'll do our own Punjabi song. We filmed it. We sent the trailer out. And everyone said, what's this about? I thought, we'll send a mini documentary out. And I did, to 100 people, to be honest with you, 100 people.
Wow.
And the feedback I got was surreal. I was like, really? You really think that? And it was just shocking. And then we set up a YouTube channel and Instagram and TikTok, all that, to just let it go and see what happens. Just for a bit of a laugh, to be honest with you. And then one day I decided, I think it was December last year, we'll show it at the cinema. Why not? So I persuaded the local cinema, the Regal Cinema in Evesham, to let us play it. I think he thought it was bonkers and what a weirdo. I've gone with my little iPhone, and like now, it didn't work. Internet didn't work. So I couldn't turn the trailer, and when I did, it just didn't come up clear. I was like, God. And he goes, you got this ready made for, you want to show it to cinema? I go, yeah. I'm like, he goes, okay, you want 50 seats? I go, no, I want the whole cinema. He must have thought, what a mental case.
Am I right in thinking that you've played it twice in the cinema and it sold out like 200 and something seats both times?
We played it once. As soon as I got the go-ahead from him, I put the tickets on sale on Thursday, and I get phone calls. I'm getting loads of texts from everybody, I sent it out to friends, family, and loads of people I know, and they passed it on to other people. I get up in the morning on a Friday, and I've just got a message after message. What's going on? People are like, I can't get tickets. What for? When it's free, everybody goes to it. You know what I mean? So, but it was just like, so I phone up the place and they go, and I go, well, Lawrence, something gone with your system, because you go, let me check. You come back in half an hour. They're all sold out. Now, what do you mean they're sold out? He goes, I've sold all 240 seats. And you go, they've all gone. I was like, Lawrence, no, I've got guests coming. I was planning to have little celebrity friends and all that there. I couldn't invite anybody else. Like, my guest list was like, and I saw the names and it was just surreal that everybody just came, and I was like, okay, this is real now.
That's amazing.
We made a proper red carpet event. Took forever to look glamorous. And there was people in, traditional Punjabi clothes to suits and glam. The ladies absolutely made, and the gents as well. So we had a little bit of music, photos taken. I invited a couple of my friends in social media as well, and
Who were the people who you had come along? Come on, drop some names.
I had some people from the BBC come along. I had, and this is why we're doing the podcast today, by the way. Tomorrow I'm flying out to Dublin, on Thursday, to go and see my friend's ex-sparring partner, Mike Tyson, and he's in a warm-up acting. So I'm like, so it's like surreal life. So Big Joe he came along. There was people from the radio, and all sorts of different people there. And there was many that I didn't invite because I had no tickets. I had no tickets myself. My own bit low tickets.
Tell us about some of these characters on the farm. What's day-to-day life like on the farm? What do you guys get up to?
Oh my! Let me tell you, we had a choice about naming them, so we didn't name them. So we called them Tractor Man and Drill Man and Mrs. Maker, and everybody on the farm's got a talent. You know, no, in general, in life, everyone's got a talent. What we're good at doing is find that talent. They come in here to pick strawberries and pack strawberries and raspberries, but then you find something amazing what they can do. Like the song that the guy sings, the trailer, it was a guy on our site that wrote it, sang it. The double R, which is played, and the soundtrack on it, which was played by a guy that works opposite me in my office. That, you know, he wouldn't go on stage. He was like, "No, I'm too frightened." But he played it at a studio. You got Tractor Man, who just loves his tractor. I mean, absolutely adores his tractor. You know?
We all know one of those on the farm.
Yeah. So it felt good. You know, I kind of started with an apology because I thought whenever it turned up, I think they thought they'd come for a movie in it because the trailers looks like a movie, but it was two 13-minute documentaries, and it was just a standing ovation for the first one. I could not believe it. I was like, really? And I thought, second one, no chance, same again. And then all I get asked now whenever I go is, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? And this is the beauty now. It's in the hand of a company called LA Productions, who's a production company, and they came and they did some work on it. And I'm hoping Netflix, Amazon, and Sky, whoever is interested, is going to take it on because it's a story that needs telling. Because in farming,
Definitely,
it's one of the most interesting industries to be in, where it doesn't matter the color of your skin, and I think it doesn't matter at all. It matters if you can farm. So it's about your ability, which is, should be the case, yeah. But we're the only ones doing it from our culture.
It makes me so happy that you say that, because it's a conversation we have in the NFU a lot about how we can make our industry more broadly and the NFU itself more open and more inclusive, to get a broader range of skill sets and people who know what they're doing and can do amazing things, and to get them into farming. You mentioned earlier the name, it's A Punjabi Farm Innit, which I just think is absolutely genius, because it is that collision of the two worlds and the two cultures, your Brummy background, your Punjabi background. How do you think that kind of boiling pot of cultures and experiences helps your business and just the whole culture of what you're doing kind of thrive? And why is it so important?
It's very important. First of all, I never understood my culture as much as I do now. And one of the things that inspired me was that how embedded the Punjabis are into farming. We're the region, the breadbasket of India. And I didn't really understand that. And we've travelled all the way over here to the Vale of Evesham, which is, amazing, and to the Garden of England, to do the same thing we left home for, but not many people did it. So it's so embedded, and everything about my culture, the Punjabi culture, is the music, the food, it's all to do with agriculture, horticulture, and that's amazing. And it's like, what a perfect blend. And the characters on our farm, they're from all over the place. They're Romanian, Polish, Lithuanian, Uzbekistan, Indians, me, English. You know what I mean? So we've got all these different cultures, and it's fun to see because you see society as it should be, everybody's getting along. And
how do you sort your staffing, and how do you recruit for people on the farm? Because it's a thing that loads of people in agriculture in the UK struggle with, is to get good staffing. And it sounds absolutely amazing that you've got such a good mix of all different types of people. So how do you recruit to get people?
Shall I tell you something that I kind of understood? Wherever you go in the world, farming, first of all, we used to be kings. Farmers used to be kings. And somewhere along the line that we've all forgotten the importance of a farmer. We've forgotten. And that's something that needs to be reminded, because we put food on the table, and they're heroes. To me, what I saw in the pandemic, and how these, fellow growers and farmers got up and carried on doing the job and risked their life, that to me is amazing. Yeah. But if you look around the world, these are not the jobs that people want to do, young kids want to do. They don't want to. If you go to America, Mexicans are doing it. If you go to Poland, Ukrainians doing it. If you go to Germany, it's the Turkish and Romanians doing it. Everywhere, Australia, it's the English doing it. Yeah. So you've got those jobs are those for people that want to go across and do. So it's going to be difficult in any country. We have a great government here that, we've got a source system where 44,000 people are allowed to be assisted, and they come over for 6 months to help us. We recruit locally as well. But we're trying to retain our staff. Now, the main thing is retaining it. And that is about changing the culture of how we do things. It is difficult. We're working against all the odds. We've got everything against it, the weather, customer demand, disease,
Do you think if your documentary is seen by a really wide, broad audience and people can see how much fun and the culture and the positivity that you have on farm, that can be a tool to help encourage people to want to get involved in this type of industry?
Yeah, it does. You need heroes. Everywhere you need heroes, yeah? And the hero doesn't have to be perfect. And that's what we show. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. And we don't do it for camera. This is actually what we're like, isn't it? We have ups and downs. Things don't go right. You're like, oh, God, has that happened? I think I showed a few of my customers. From there, it's snowballed. And it's like, since then, I've been watching lots of TV programs, farming programs, yeah? And I don't think anything's out there that's similar to what we do and similar to our characters, similar to how we are, me, my family, my dad, my brother.
It's so wonderful that it's such a family affair as well. I think that'll resonate so well with so many of our listeners and NFU members. They're all family businesses, and the fact that that's at the heart of everything you've done and your parents' journey to where you are now is just wonderful. And to see that on screen, I'm so excited to see it. I'm really sad that I haven't been able to watch it yet.
Well, it's on hold because I've been told not to show it, not to release it, not to do anything. The worst thing for anyone to tell a farmer to do is hold fire, because we can't do that. We grow something within 6 months and then sell it, put a seed in, grow it, fertilize everything, and then sell it. And then we start next year, and it's like, you have to wait. I'm like, huh? How long for? You're missing the best bits, isn't it? We've had an amazing year this year. I mean, the weather's been brilliant. We've done some amazing things. It's been some of the stuff I thought, I should have done on camera. I should have done this. And it's like, because I know what people, they want to see something that's genuine. The people on the farm are genuine. They're just lovely people.
It's so wonderful hearing you speak so positively, because it's been a difficult year for farmers across the board. It has been tough in so many different ways. But you are right. There has been so much good and so much positivity as well. And sometimes we don't spend enough time talking about that. And just listening to you, it makes me feel better. It's hearing you say so many positive, wonderful things is just fab. So thank you so much.
I love my industry. I think my industry is one of the most... It was hard to understand it at first, because I came from a background where racism was very high, and and I felt it daily. And I thought that would be the same in farming. I didn't find that. If you're good at your job, you're going to be welcomed in. The thing is, if you make a mistake and you ask for help, there's so many growers and farmers that will help. And you're amazed that rubs off on you, and you start doing things that you automatically think that's just the way things are. Actually, it's not. It is not the way people are. It's farming community that does that. When everyone's doing the flag burning and whatever's going on with the flags. Yeah. So we're there, 30 of our staff. We took some strawberries there because I'm proud of my product. Yeah. So we took trays of strawberries. We went there, and this is with the Great British flag there, that the Royal Britannica playing and all that. And I thought, do you know what? We can change a little bit of what people think. We're united in this country. We're not divided. You know what I mean? So let's go out there and celebrate that. So we went out there, we were giving strawberries, and the welcome we felt was amazing. And I want that people to see that. I don't want people to see a little bit of negativity that somebody's taking the flag down. We're supposed to be united in this country, and farming is getting knocked. It is. It's getting knocked in a hard way. But we've forgotten that the farmers were kings back in the day. They were the ones that we looked up to, And in my culture, that's the highest thing you can be as a farmer. Somewhere along the line, we've forgotten. People travel the world just for fertile land.
Yeah.
So why have we forgotten? That's what I want to remind people of.
Bal, I love you so much. Honestly, Bal for Prime Minister, you're just so inspiring. Hearing you wax lyrical about all the wonderful things about our industry and talking so positively about your experience of being received into the broader industry in the UK just fills me with hope. And hope is not something that we have an awful lot of at the moment in a lot of spheres. So thank you. That is just absolutely wonderful. Wow, wasn't Bal just an absolute breath of fresh air? He's so positive and so enthusiastic. I just literally listening to him makes me want to go out and do stuff. I want to go and visit his farm. I want to work for him. He just seems like such a glorious man, and I just wish him all the luck in hopefully getting this documentary live. I want to watch it. I really want to see it.
And up next, we've got our Westminster team talking about the budget, IHT. Yes, it's a little bit of a dry one compared to the wonders of Bal, but stick with us because after them, we are joined by Josh Payne, who is going to talk about all things NFU education and their Christmas quests.
But first, here's the Westminster team.
Hello from Westminster. You've got me, Niamh McGinty.
And you've got me, Scott Pepe.
On this week's episode, we'll be covering all things budget and also the livestock worrying bill.
We've had 2 massive weeks in Westminster. I feel we say that a lot, Niamh, but these last 2 weeks have been really, really big. Should we start with the budget, Niamh? Because we did get a few small wins there, which I think our listeners would be interested to hear about. And then perhaps you can cover the extraordinary scene we had on Wednesday with a big vote on the family farm tax.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, hasn't it? Obviously, we've not been in touch since the budget. So, Scott, do you want to give a rundown on that small win that we had in there?
Yeah, so as listeners will know, we've been working so hard over the past year, not just us, but with the help of our members up and down the country, lobbying MPs, making sure they understand the implications of the family farm tax, and all that work has started to pay off. So in the budget, we did get a small change. The Chancellor announced that you would be able to transfer the £1 million APR BPR allowance to your spouse. Now, that's not perfect, and Tom Bradshaw, the President, has been very clear that that doesn't quite go far enough. But it is a big change. It's particularly a big change to those farmers who are married or those farmers who have already lost a spouse. So just to be clear, what the Chancellor announced is that initially when she first drafted the policy, you could only transfer your £1 million APR allowance down. That's not very helpful if your children are young or are not quite ready to take on the farm yet. We finally got the government to admit their policy wasn't perfect, and the Chancellor announced you could transfer that across. So you can leave £1 million to your spouse or your civil partner, and they keep that allowance when they die. It basically means that for married farmers, you can now transfer £2 million down to your descendants. It's good, and it's good for the government to admit that their policy is not perfect, but as I said, we've been very clear this doesn't go far enough. And so we will continue to push, particularly on the anti-forestalling clause. That's the bit of the budget that means that elderly and terminally ill farmers are unable to plan around the policies. So our focus really now turning to making sure that those pernicious parts of the policy are taken out.
For those who don't know, what exactly is the anti-forestalling clause, Scott?
The anti-forestalling clause contained within the finance bill means that an elderly or terminally ill farmer who transfers the ownership of a farm to a descendant now, but dies within 7 years, even though they've made the transfer now, they'll still be liable to pay the family farm tax under the new system. But if they don't make the transfer now and die before the 5th of April, they're liable to pay no inheritance tax at all. And you don't need to be the world's most talented economist to understand that that puts elderly and terminally ill farmers in a really, really difficult position. So that is why we're so concerned about the anti-forestalling clause, and our big ask for government now, but very least we think they could do, given that they promised not to introduce this policy in the first place, is to remove the anti-forestalling clause to take elderly and terminally ill farmers out of the eye of the storm.
Thanks for that, Scott. It's obviously so complex, and I think you've summarised that really well. Obviously, we had the budget and then we went straight into the budget debates, didn't we? And we had so many of those backbench Labour MPs deliver really incredible speeches, calling out the government on their policy, encouraging them to look again, giving the NFU some shout outs in there. And yeah, I think their support has just been completely invaluable, hasn't it?
Yeah, the post-budget debate was amazing. We just saw Labour MP after Labour MP standing up and talking about the impacts of the family farm tax. I think it's worth remembering that they're not doing that by accident. They're doing that because the NFU and our members have been keeping the issue at the forefront of Labour MPs' minds. And it was amazing in particular, I think, to see how many of those Labour MPs referenced visits they'd made out on farms, speaking to members about the impact the tax will have on families in particular. And we saw lots of MPs raising pretty tough, pretty gut-wrenching stories actually about conversations they've had. And it just goes to show that those on-farm meetings that we've had throughout the year, hundreds of them, really are starting to make a difference as we get to the crunch time in Parliament. So that's a quick rundown on the budget, the things the Chancellor announced and the things we're still trying to change. But we also had some pretty big votes on the budget, and some of them were unexpected. Neve, how did we find out about this vote on Wednesday?
So on Tuesday, we had a tip off from one of our really trusted sources in Westminster that a vote would be happening on the changes to inheritance tax. This was a procedural vote, so it wasn't the vote on the final policy, but nevertheless, it was a really good opportunity for those backbench Labour MPs to continue expressing their frustration with the government. Because we had that tip off, it meant we were able to spring into action. We were ringing around MP offices, weren't we, Scott, encouraging them to abstain on the vote. And it's worth saying, when they do abstain on a vote, which means they're not voting on it, even if they're not voting against the government, that's a really good way for MPs to go on record and show that they're unhappy with the government. We also coordinated a Write to Your MP tool, and I think we hit something like 500 letters sent by members to their MPs in the space of a few hours. We were briefing journalists, which meant the story made it onto the Skies headlines, and really good coverage across papers as well. So yeah, following a massive day of lobbying on Tuesday, a significant number of those Labour MPs, I think we got over 30 in there, refused to go on record and back the government's planned changes to inheritance tax. We actually also had one MP vote against the government, Marcus Campbell-Savers. He's the MP for Penrith and Solway. He actually voted against the government, and while it's not a comfortable thing for MPs to do in terms of abstain, and even more so, it's very, very rare that you get MPs voting against their own party. He obviously did this, and as a result, he's now lost the Labour whip. So it was a decision that a lot of MPs have taken really, really seriously. And I think, for them, for this group of 30, and for a lot of MPs, it's not often that they get a pat on the back for something, but absolutely fair play for sticking up for their farming constituents, for going on record, and for, really holding the government to account on this.
Completely agree with all that, Neve, and great effort from not just us, but from NFU members to get 500 members writing to their MP asking them to abstain in such a short period of time is really impressive. So if you're listening and you wrote to your MP, thank you. And if your MP did abstain, it really does them no harm to send them a quick note to say thank you. People don't often write to their MPs to say thank you, so let's make sure they feel the love. Now, that's what's happened in the last couple of weeks, but obviously there's still a long way to go. The second reading of the Finance Bill will be on the 16th of December. There'll be a debate, so we're hoping that lots of MPs will continue to raise the family farm tax, but there won't be a vote like there was in the last few weeks. It'll be a straight yes-no vote on the whole budget. So we're not expecting lots of MPs to vote against the whole budget, but we are working very hard with Labour MPs to continue pushing on that. Once that debate on the 16th of December has happened, we'll get what's called a programme motion. That basically means a timetable. We'll get the whole timetable for the finance bill, and at that stage we'll have a clear plan of when the key votes are going to happen and when we can try and force another vote on the family farm tax. Our ask is still that the government should bring forward an amendment to the finance bill to remove this horrid anti-forestalling clause, but obviously the option of backbench amendments is there if the government refuses to do the right thing. But it's not just the budget that is going on in Parliament. There is other parliamentary business happening, as always, still. And Neve, we've got as we speak, the livestock worrying bill is going through the House of Lords, isn't it?
Yeah, we do indeed. So as we are speaking, the livestock worrying bill is going through its third reading in the House of Lords. So this bill basically would give greater powers to the police to crack down on irresponsible dog owners whose pets attack livestock and cause a lot of financial but also emotional damage to farming families as well. This bill has been years in the making, hasn't it, Scott? We tried to get it through in the last Parliament, but it was postponed due to the general election. And the interesting thing about this bill as well is that it isn't a government bill, so it's something called a private member's bill, which basically means that an MP who isn't in government has introduced this. In this case, Afra Brandreth MP, who is the Conservative MP for Chester South and Edinburgh. So it's successfully completed its journey in the House of Commons, and now it's been taken through the Lords, actually by our old friend Baroness Coffey, who was the former DEFRA Secretary. So she's been sponsoring that going through the House of Lords. It's making really good progress, and while it still might have a little while to go before it gets on His Majesty's desk, we could have a real win on our hands with this.
A really great win. Hopefully it'll make a real difference to members. And it just goes to show the benefit of tenacity in lobbying. We have been working on this for years. We didn't quite get it in the previous government, but we've kept going. And lobbying is sometimes a very long-term business, isn't it? But I'm pleased to see third reading, it's nearly there. So that's about it from the Westminster team for this year. Thanks very much for listening. The House of Commons breaks for its Christmas recess on the 19th of December. So a bit of a break for politics for us and for everyone, which I'm sure is welcome. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and look after yourself, and we'll be back in the new year.
It was great, as ever, to hear from our wonderful Westminster team. I know we've been talking a lot about the budget, but actually livestock worrying is a huge issue, particularly for us down here in the south. I know actually across the country there are a lot of our farmers and our members really impacted by this, so this is a really great bill, and I'm so pleased that we're on the case looking at that and making sure that we're doing the best to ensure that this awful crime is not going to be going on forever. So really, really proud of them for doing everything we can.
Definitely. It's a brilliant reminder that the Westminster team does so much more than just the thing that's peak of the news on the day. They're doing so many things. And we had a terrible livestock worrying incident a couple of years ago on the farm where we lost 22 sheep in one dog attack. And it was devastating. It was just, so I really know very personally how difficult and how hard those situations can be to deal with. And they're emotional and they're horrible. So the fact that this bill is going through and being worked on by the NFU is brilliant news, and we're so grateful for them for doing it. But from that sort of slightly difficult and not wonderfully festive section, we're going to go into a really happy and positive section with our brilliant NFU education team, one of them, Josh, who literally have been speaking to millions of children over the last couple of years. He's going to tell us about their festive farming quest.
So Josh, could you tell me a little bit about what you do for those who wouldn't necessarily know what we do at the NFU in terms of education?
My job is Chief Education Manager of NFU. I've been here for about 8 years now, and I'm part of a team of 3 people. And together, we are the link between farmers and our members, who are farmers, of course, and schools. And that's the really important thing to mention is we're not directly working with children, but actually we're looking strategically at how can we get more farming content into schools, what projects can we run that really engages those teachers, because let's be honest, children spend most of their week in front of a whiteboard or a teacher or doing an activity at school, so it's the best time to get farming education through to them.
What are you working on at the minute, especially with Christmas in mind?
So Christmas, we've had a great week. We've just finished our festive farming quest, which was 2 live lessons that was broadcast from here at NFU HQ in Stoneleigh to 82,000 children and young people across England and Wales and beyond as well. We do say as within a few, we focus mainly on England and Wales, but I know for a fact that we were right up on the top of some of the Scottish Isles, right down to the tip of Cornwall for the schools that took part, which is fantastic.
It really is absolutely incredible that those numbers, 82,000 children is quite bonkers. 800 schools that you're in, is that right? All up and down the country, like you say. I think one of the things that talking to members, people say more often than almost anything else about what they want the NFU to do is to introduce young people and to talk about education and curriculum linked things for young people learning about farming, which is exactly what you do. But this isn't this isn't the first time. So if members are learning about it for the first time, tell us a bit about some of the broader stats. I know that some of the numbers of children that you get in front of with NFU education is mind-blowing.
And honestly, it blows my mind too, because sometimes you want to contextualize these numbers. So 82,000 is Twickenham at capacity. So and you think about that, and then you're the other side of the camera. But then we sometimes get caught up in the fact that numbers that big aren't even good enough because to put it into context, this year, over 500,000 children have taken part in a lesson like this.
That's good contextualizing.
Designed just, with NFU education specifically, all funded through our own membership, written by Jenny Devine, who's our education manager, also largely presented by Jenny. So always when I talk about these lessons, I have to do a huge shout out to her because the work she puts in is absolutely phenomenal. We started this in 2022, just as we were coming out of the second lockdown. And since then, we've had over 2 million. So you can't, at that point, you're starting to make your own maths lesson, to be honest, around the number of Twickenhams.
I think you skirted over that figure too much. 2 million children in the UK have had NFU-funded farming-based education lessons. That's mind-blowing. That's absolutely incredible. The fact that we are having that kind of impact in showing people what our industry does and talking positively about our industry does in a curriculum-linked way is just fantastic. I think what you guys do is mind-blowing. So tell us a little bit more about what the actual lessons involve. What's the children's experience of the types of things that they're learning and how they engage with it.
It all starts off, like I said at the start, with our job as a team being to engage teachers. So it all starts with the teacher. You've got to get them on board. You've got to give them something that they're going to want to show their class and take the children on a quest. We do a lot of quests. Yes, our writer is a quest fan. But
quest is an exciting word for a child.
It is. Who doesn't want to go on a quest? Exactly. I mean, which adult doesn't want to go on a quest? But that's the hook. So we always look for a hook first to get the schools involved. This time, the hook has been Christmas. A regular hook that we use is British Science Week. And that's very much about getting those schools excited and involved. Once they've done that, we work with a wonderful platform. They built a platform for us. The NFU has its own live lesson platform now. And on that, it's a one-stop shop for the teachers. So they can arrive to that platform, they sign up, they've got an account, they get free resources before the lesson if they want to get the kids warmed up. They've got resources they can use during the lesson. And then they've also got some resources they can use after the lesson. So it gives them as many opportunities for learning as possible. But the main big excitement, obviously, is the day itself, which is the platform. Then it comes in. It's designed to be shown on an interactive whiteboard or on a standard kind of computer or tablet. If someone's homeschooled, it's absolutely fine. Works on any screen. And what you've got the video, so you've got the live video elements taking the children to places that they blow my mind when we go out and film them. With this series, we've been to the world's largest Christmas pudding factory that makes 97% of the Christmas puddings in the United Kingdom. Well, not even United Kingdom.
I didn't know that the world's largest was in the UK even. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely crazy. But you wouldn't know if you're a child either. We've seen sprout harvesting, and I was chatting to someone the other day as well. I mean, it doesn't necessarily also mean that even children from a farming background, sprouts are still very, very geographically based within the UK. So actually to see sprout harvest, if you don't live in Lincolnshire or a few other select locations, you're still not going to see it happening. It's still quite niche. So everyone gets something out of it. But the most important part, and the reason that we get the good numbers that we do, is the level of interactivity we do as well. We're asking them questions, we're getting them to think. So it's not just watching a video, it's activities, it's questions that they're asked, and they can see the other 81,970 children's answers coming up on the screen to them as well. And then we've also, for the younger children in the last couple of years, started adding in some movement breaks as well, with some dances and themed songs. So it's all, I mean, it's a one-stop shop for fun, but with tangible learning as well.
Can we just circle back a little minute there? You glossed over the singing and dancing and the movement. I'm reliably informed that this is quite interactive. Can you give a little bit more about what you guys do?
It is. So this is a great story. And yeah, I wish Jenny was here to tell this story, because it is all her brainwave as well. So one of the most difficult parts of live lessons, we've done these for about 3 years now, is last year and a couple of years before we've done them based around Harvest Festival. Now, anyone who is involved with the harvesting of wheat or any other arable crop for that matter knows the challenge of trying to film that in a British summer, working around the weather, trying to get a presenter, someone who's going to be in the combine, and also a cameraman to all be on the same day when it is not raining. That's a little insight to my working world. And we got to the point last summer where we were working with the wonderful Amy Wilkinson, who is a fantastic one of our ambassadors, to film some combining footage. And we'd rescheduled it 3 times already, and it still was raining. I think everyone remembers the amount of water we had last summer. So Jenny was there up in Southport, where Amy's based, and the night before it's like it was going to rain again. It's like, well, how can we make this interactive? How can we, without filming the combine, do something that's going to really engage the kids? So came up with this idea of doing a combining song where we would talk about all of the different stages of the process of combining and harvesting, and all the different things that the combine did. That then just created a monster that has led to potato harvesting songs and dances, sprout harvesting songs and dances. We had one about sheep health this time. It's great. And, we've read through some of the feedback from this week, and one of the absolute standout comments has been, we love the singing and dancing.
Oh, it sounds absolutely brilliant. I wish that when I'm in the middle of harvest and it's raining and we can't go combining, that I could fix that problem by doing a combine dance.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try it next summer.
Yeah.
Just sounds absolutely brilliant. I bet the kids do love that. And it's the kind of thing that they love to do anyway. It's the kind of thing they want to do in school and with their friends, and to sing and dance and have a wonderful time. But to take something that they love and then integrate that and twine that together with farming and the story of farming, I think is so clever. Could you just tell us a little bit more about the people and the ambassadors that you work with, and like with the festive one that you've done recently, the types of people and voices that you're getting to talk to the kids and share their stories?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the big advantages of having this platform as well is that when you have someone who is fantastic, you get to share them with loads and loads of school children. A huge part of what we do, in fact, I'll backtrack a little bit, because we have kind of 2 roles with NFU Education. The first is obviously to educate children about where their food comes from. But the second, of course, is that we want young people to think that farming is a viable career, that actually it's something that could be really fun to do when they grow up. I've definitely already got one recruit in my own daughter who's watched the live lessons now, who keeps talking about wanting to be a farmer. So that's working.
I love that.
What it means is that we can cherry pick some really, really good ambassadors for the industry, and also we can think about representation so that the children who are watching those lessons can see themselves doing it. So one of the ambassadors we had this time was Coco Jallo, who's fantastic, absolutely brilliant young ambassador, nominated for Young Student Farmer of the Year this year. So to get those kind of role models out in front as well. And we do, I'll be completely honest, we're very, very mindful of who we choose to make sure that we see a wide spread of the industry. So it doesn't matter kind of what racial background you're from. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter what your accent's like even. We try and make sure that in that lesson, every young person that watches sees a little bit of themselves in the people that are presenting the lessons, so that they can see it as a viable for them.
It's great that you're so inclusive, Josh. If I was a member listening to you now and thought, I'd love to get involved, I want to talk to children, I'm a farmer, I do really cool things, is there anything that our members can do to join in or get involved? Is there any programs they can sign up to?
Oh, that's a great segue, Jax. Of course there is. Thanks for the tee up there. So we, as well as our live lessons, another program we've got which is absolutely fantastic is our Farmers for Schools ambassador program, and this again has been running for about 3 or 4 years now. We've got over 400 ambassadors based across England and Wales, who've all done a training session, and then they go out and go into schools and deliver assemblies. And they are also a very good pot of people to talk to when we think, that person's done the training with us and they do this really cool thing. Maybe let's get them on a live lesson as well. So if people are interested in that, just search Farmers for Schools. You'll see it on the NFU website, or our email address is really easy to remember as well. It's education@nfu.org.uk. But yeah, I mean, we're a very small team. Someone dubbed us small but mighty the other day, which I always think is a great phrase. But
small but mighty indeed. I mean, just the impact that you guys have for the size of your team is absolutely incredible.
We are unfortunately running out of time. I just have one tiny little question to ask you. Would you mind, as a Christmas present, singing me the Combine song?
yeah, so the most memorable one definitely this time. And if anyone out there wants to see this in and with the video to match it to make it even more memorable, it's our sprout harvesting song.
1, 2, 3, and chop the stalks, pick up the stalks, cut off the sprouts and put them in the hopper. Chop the stalks, pick up the stalks, cut off the sprouts and put them in the hopper.
And then if you watch it online, you also then get a Christmas bauble to congratulate you for doing it. So you've got to get in there. Jenny won't thank me for this because it ain't me dancing in the video, it's her.
Can we put a link to that in the show notes of this podcast so people can go and have a look?
I'll look at the YouTube, yeah,
show
definitely.
their children at home as well, so any kids who didn't get to see it can see the
and when you're eating your sprouts on Christmas Day, you'll then know
where they come
exactly where they've come from.
I'm a big fan of the Sprout song. Thank you so much, Josh. It's really great to chat to you. You guys are doing just incredible work.
Honestly,
really,
I think what you do is one of the most important things that the NFU does, and I hope members can learn more and more about it, because I think people absolutely will love hearing what you do. Yeah. So thank you for talking to us.
Thank you both. And a little plug, there'll be more live lessons in March. So if anyone does have children at home,
fantastic.
Bother their teachers, or if you know a teacher, bother them too. Get them on the lessons. We always want more. We're not happy with 2 million. We always want the number to go up.
Oh, definitely. And we'll put your contact details and email address in the show notes as well.
Brilliant.
Wow. 2 million school children. I mean, imagine putting all of those in a classroom and the chaos that would ensue. But what an effort, and it's just one of the great things that the NFU does, a bit of our unsung heroes. So it's just so great to hear from Josh and what they're up to, and I really would encourage everyone to, go and do the training and become an ambassador, because, educating our children on farming and food is just so incredibly important.
Definitely, and they have such a fabulous impact. And if you can't or don't have time to do the training, but you do have children in school, or you've got a good relationship with your school, do get in touch with them and drop them the details for NFU Education. Like we said, it is a free provision, it is curriculum linked, and it's all set up and ready to go for schools. So it's super easy for them to engage with it and use it, and really beneficial to them and their children. And all the details for that, and all of the details of everything else that we've discussed in the podcast today, will, as ever, be in the show notes.
I think the only thing left to mention is Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and a really great new year, especially for those of you that are going to start lambing, not long now, going into 2026. So Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
What are you doing over Christmas, Jax? Are you having a good Christmas?
We're having a nice family Christmas at home. I'm cooking, so the quality of the beef will be on how good my presents are. So
amazing.
Top tip. But yes, nice quiet one at home for us. So.
Beautiful.
Yes.
There's nothing better than a family Christmas with all of the trimmings and all of the delicious Christmassy smells, with all that British produce. All of those sprouts from the Sprout song.
Yes. We love a sprout now.
Wonderful. We, as a podcast, are going to take a little festive break. All of our fellow presenters, Bizza, Luke, Naomi and Josh, and ourselves are going to have a little bit of a festive break now, but we will be back in your ears, in your fields, in your sheds, with Shed Talk in January, which is super exciting. I feel like we've kind of, we've only just sort of started this and we're already at the end of a year. It feels like we're looking back on all the wonderful things that we've done, but really looking forward to 2026 being bigger and better than ever, and growing this podcast, speaking to more people, showing and showcasing more farmers and members. And we cannot wait, can we, Jax?
No, we really can't.
So Merry Christmas.
Merry
And
Christmas.
see you in 2026.